Welcome to the Bleaves Crypto Show. My name is Bleaves. We're here to talk about cryptocurrency, that crazy crypto world that takes from you and takes from you and takes from you. But guess what? It's not going to keep taking from you from very much longer. You're about to witness a market correction. We're already seeing the pattern starting to emerge on the charts, so we're going to talk about that. But the big news of the day is actually this. XRP has been considered by Franklin Templeton, one of the largest asset managers in the world, as a foundational asset. And folks, that's going to be absolutely huge for the future of XRP. Let's talk about all that and more. Make sure you hit the like button on your way in. Still don't have that. I still don't have the intro song set up. So we'll figure it out as we go. Franklin Templeton joins XRP ETF Wraith, calling it foundational. I think it's called BWOW or DWOW, something like that. The other one was G-Dog, Good Dog. That launched today. God, you know what? Now I'm thinking of Dogecoin. Duh, because I'm stupid like that. Franklin Templeton. The XRP-Z is debuting on the New York Stock Exchange. Franklin becomes the latest financial heavyweight betting on crypto's future in global payments. Franklin Templeton launched its XRP exchange-traded fund. And David Mann, head of ETF product and capital markets at Franklin, said in a statement Monday that XRP plays a foundational role in global settlement infrastructure. The rollout marks a significant turn in XRP's fortune. Just 5 years ago, the token faced mass delistings with major exchanges after the US SEC sued Ripple in late 2020. The agency alleged Ripple had sold XRP as an unregistered security since 2013. That lawsuit settled in August of 2025, where Ripple agreed to pay the SEC a $125 million settlement without admitting any wrongdoing. Since then, interest in XRP rebounded, particularly as regulators have begun to outline clearer rules for digital assets. Franklin Templeton's ETF is part of a broader trend of institutional players entering the crypto space through regulated investment vehicles. So this is a massive move for XRP. Now, you might be asking yourself, is it affecting the charts? The answer to that is yes, it actually is. But we got to zoom out just a little bit in order to take that in. In fact, it's trading at 216 right now, down 2% on the day. But look at the massive liftoff since this started a couple of days ago. Remember, the ETFs launched right here, and now we're having some upward movement. Is it great upward movement? No, it's not. It's not. It's not the incredible blow off that you're looking for, but this is foundational adoption. Not only is it foundational adoption, but we have to talk about the headwinds that we're currently experiencing in the crypto market, marked by Wintermute doing a massive, massive sell-off, dunking on the market. Then we've got the 4-year cycle whales exiting, thinking that it's over. So there are a lot of obstacles that got thrown at us at that very last moment. There were a lot of different pieces that should have fallen into place for a massive run-up that we didn't get. So now the question is, what happens to XRP next? And as you guys can see right here, we just bounced off of him. And guys, I gave you this level a couple of days ago. You know, listen, it's very, very simple. I believe that what we said was buy here and sell right here if you're looking for a flip, that was what was going to happen. And guess what happened? Exactly what we predicted was going to happen. Now, the question at this point is, can we rally from this move into the next level? So I would suspect that we're going to test $2 one more time. If we don't, for any reason, test $2, maybe the market is just sizzling at this point, and maybe we've got some strong upside momentum. And what I'm drawing out right now, this Fibonacci, that's not really anything to worry about. We're not done with this impulse move here. It hasn't completed. Now, if it does complete, then we're talking about 238. That's where we're going to see some step in. We're going to see some sells happening right there. And then also at 265. Which is going to be where the 200 MA is. And that, by the way, that's what we need in order to reestablish bullish momentum. If you're looking for a bullish market has its assets, its big assets above the 200 MA. And we're not above that right now on the daily. Now, on the weekly, we're still way up, but we're starting to see cracks in it because the 50 MA started to move in a downward trend. So that's not optimal. That is suboptimal to what you want to see. So Perhaps this is just a kind of a testament here of whatever's going to happen next. Whatever's going to happen next, we should see a massive move coming up in the next few days. Now, before we say that, let me step back 1 second here because the market is incredibly volatile right now. Dow Jones opened up big, up 200 points, immediately sunk down to about 50 points, and then rallied back again to be back up 200 points. There's a lot of movement in the market as profits are being booked, but new investments are coming in very, very rapidly. This is a skittish market. You're seeing a lot of volatility. And what does that mean? That means it's an opportunity for the bears to step in and fight and fight and fight to keep that price of Bitcoin down a little bit more and a little bit longer. Why? Because they're accumulating. The one thing to recognize right now is when we're looking at trends in this market, what are you seeing? You're seeing new institutions stepping in, buying up the Bitcoin. You're seeing old whales finally cashing out over 100,000 or into these. Basically, look, Bitcoin's in the stratosphere. If you changed your life and you have billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, like that guy Owen the other day, you owe it to yourself. Like, take your money, and then throw 300 million into Bitcoin one more time at the bottom and turn it into another $1 billion. I mean, it's your world, man. Live it. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting to see how this is going to play out, but that does mean that we're not seeing the people holding a little bit longer like we were seeing before. The other part to that is there's also been a lot of conversation about Bitcoin no longer being the golden asset, that the golden asset for people who want privacy, which was the purpose of Bitcoin to begin with. Because remember, when eGold failed back in, I want to say it was 2000. When did the government come for eGold? 2005, when it got raided. Then what ended up happening was Satoshi, a couple years later, comes out with an improvement on the whole eGold situation, and that's where we get Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, however, if you know somebody's wallet, you can track that person, and that person is no longer invisible to the world. That hashtag wallet address is now something that you can turn into a tracking device, if you will, for that person's movement. And when they move it into a new wallet or a new wallet or a new wallet, then you're able to track it. So your privacy is not secured, but that's not the case with Zcash. With Zcash, you had this crazy moment where privacy became something very, very important, and we saw this incredible and massive run up from $25 basically. We saw a low of $25 all the way up to $750. That's the kind of rally that we were looking at for all of altcoins. We didn't get that, but we got it with Zcash. So money's coming out of Bitcoin. Money's going into Zcash in droves. So you got to ask yourself the question, like, what is next? So now the important part to this is I think there is a place for Zcash, but it's not Bitcoin. Okay. And I don't see the market deciding, oh yeah, you guys were right. We institutions that have all the money, we were totally wrong about this one. We're going to just throw our money at Zcash now. I don't think that that's going to be the case. Now, there will be instances in which Zcash is going to continue to roll. I do think that that's a $2,000 or $3,000 project at this point per coin, but we really have to see the market sort of bear it out. And again, I think Bitcoin has to have its big moment in the sun again before we see that. Now, we got a long way to go for a recovery, so let's get back to it. This ETF structure lets institutional and retail investors gain XRP exposure through brokerage accounts with daily pricing and SEC oversight. Grayscale's XRP ETF also launched Monday. So now we've got XRP ETFs. We got everything that we've needed in this market. The only thing that we're missing right now is the Clarity Act, because we don't have clarity on what is considered a commodity or a security or how the machinations of the market are going to unfold. And, by the way, I got like this cowlick thing happening on the back of my head today, and I can't get rid of it. So I don't know what that's about. Let's do this. There we go. Worked out at a new gym, by the way, yesterday. Really interesting at this new gym. It was same thing, but just a different location. And I don't know if it's better or worse, but it had a sauna, which was nice, and it had a steam room. And I don't have a steam room at my gym, so we like you. All right. Kobayashi, moving on here. NVIDIA extends its decline to 5.5%, erasing over $250 billion in market cap on fears over increased competition from Google. I don't know that that's the case, but let's say that probably is. I don't know it's the increased competition, but I know that there's a move into Google. There's a move that is correlating with NVIDIA. So maybe we're just maybe it's just money kind of floating over, trying to figure out how best to layer itself into the market, something like that. You know, I don't think that people are not just running into Alphabet. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So make sure, by the way, that you hit the like button. We've got people watching, but we've only got about 11 likes right now. So, guys, it would certainly help me out tremendously if you guys would make sure that button gets hit. Smash it, beat it up, treat it like it's Dominic Mysterio and you're John Cena. Steal its Intercontinental title. You know what I mean? Let's go, baby. Anyway, let me. There we go. All right. So, and good morning. I can't just pop on these and get this thing to do what I want it to do, man. Son of a bitch. Like, I just can't, every time I try, just, Wait. There it is. There it is. So, good morning, Bleaves. Good morning, Mike Volmer. Good morning to everybody. Again, I'm not using StreamYard anymore. I decided I wasn't going to use StreamYard, so I got to come up with something that... Oh, son of a bitch. There was an integration that I put in OBS, and I forgot to activate it, and it would have had chat on screen. God damn it, I forgot about that one. Anyway, so we'll keep going here for right now. Also, the story of the day is Google is now up 4% and NVIDIA is down 4% on concerns over increased competition. This comes after reports that Meta is considering using Google's AI chips over NVIDIA's. So is that really bad for NVIDIA? And to be honest, the answer is no. This is just a move right now. The reality is that AI compute demand is rising 50 to 70% year over year and is well above levels NVIDIA can keep up with. So NVIDIA still controls as much as 90% of the global AI chip market, so it's going to go only higher. Now, next up, ironically, it looks like President Trump's call for rate cuts in March of 2025 came at the exact top of the labor market. Now, why am I bringing that to you? And the reason that I'm bringing that to you is because one of the Fed governors, which is wild, and his name is Stephen Moran, he said that it is time for explosive and massive rate cuts, okay? Right here, just in, Fed Governor Stephen Moran says the U.S. economy calls for larger interest rate cuts. Now, here's the problem with this assessment and thesis. This is a conservative Fed that doesn't want to move the rates. Where did Stephen Moran just decide we need massive rate cuts because normally they're very conservative? Well, the answer to that is because Donald Trump just picked him. So what Donald Trump has right now is a plant in his market to help to move the markets. And by the way, I don't have a problem with that. Cut the rates. Let's go. Make something happen. Let's get a 50 basis point cut. But it's going to be very, very difficult to get them and convince them that that is the step, that that's what we need to do when you have Jerome Powell in charge. But here's the thing. Maybe Steve Moran is going to be the new Fed governor. I mean, maybe he's going to be the Fed chair going forward. You never really know how this is going to play out. We keep hearing Jerome Powell would resign. He didn't resign. We keep hearing that Donald Trump's going to fire him. He didn't fire him. He's going to run out his tenure, which that tenure, by the way, comes to an expiry in May of next year. So we have 6 months maybe of Jerome Powell being obstinate and preventing some of the progress that President Trump is trying to get through right now. But then it's going to be on. And when it's on, it's going to be a really wild moment. It should be just an exciting moment, in my opinion. You never know how it all plays out. You never know how it's going to go. But it sure looks like we could have a new Fed governor, or a new Fed chair very, very soon, and some big and significant rate cuts. Now, one of the other parts to this is I think we should probably at this point address the elephant in the room, which is in the event that Jerome Powell is obstinate and difficult, then altcoin season and continued run on Bitcoin might be off the table until at least May. We might get some we might get some injection into the market. We might get a little bit of secret quantitative easing, but it's going to take it's going to take something drastic for this Fed board to do anything about it, by the way. And look, if you don't like Jerome Powell, then there's only one person that you can blame, and it's the person that nominated him. I mean, you can't make that up, by the way. So maybe maybe we'll see a new person that'll do a better job, or at least a more robust job of making something happen. So keep that in mind. Stephen Moran, absolutely on the board, telling people we need massive rate cuts. He's going to be voting for 50 basis point cuts. By the way, the current rate is 81% for a rate cut in December. Remember, it was only 40% just a few short days ago. But now it's becoming obvious that the labor market is weak. We need rate cuts in order to continue to pump the economy. And it's going to be interesting. They are forcing a new crypto rally. They're forcing it at this moment. So it's only a matter of time before we see the next big move. Now, bull market peak indicators. At this point, we have nothing triggered. I did, by the way, I told you guys that I think that you should follow Dr. Profit because he's been actually really, really good about it. And I saw somebody said something here about, somebody sent me a message that said that he said, don't worry about the indicators. Not pumping. No. Oh, here we go. There is. Forget about charts and indicators. Every single one failed this cycle. Not even one of the 30 major Bitcoin top signals has turned bearish. Even at this stage, this tells you really everything. Now you understand why Dr. Profit is different. I trade market psychology. So, and until this thesis is unproven, and look, if I told you guys a month ago or a month and a half ago, we're not headed back down to 75,000. Now, it is entirely possible that we never hit 75,000. It is also entirely possible that we have a massive reversal. However, you got to put some respect on this guy's name, because even if it didn't go to 75,000, it did go to 80,000. And if we're splitting hairs here, that is not a bad call. Okay? It's not a bad call. You know what I'm saying? So let's see how this plays out, and let's see what happens. Now, remember also that if you're using your 4-year cycle thesis, if you're still using that, remember what I told you guys, that the end of 2026 is when you should be accumulating as much Bitcoin as you possibly can. Fill your wallets with Bitcoin, because that's the way that the 4-year cycle and strategy has worked. And by the way, if the 4-year whales are actually selling, and they are, if the 4-year whales are actually selling, then I would think, or I should say, that it's going to be hard to get them back in, because they're going to think everything is a bear trap. Every time we pump, they're gonna say it's a bear trap, try to get you back in and try to get you liquidated, or there's always going to be a reason. So it's going to take a lot before we see a significant rally. And the first thing that we have to see, by the way, for a significant rally is going to be, in the last 3 weeks, we've moved under the 50 MA on the weekly. We're going to have to reclaim that. And the current line to gain right now is 102,336. Now, we're not going to see that over a day. We're probably not going to see that over a week. It'll probably take a couple weeks to get there. And we've got Christmas coming up, which is notoriously a bearish time for the crypto market. So because it's always so bearish, there's two things that can happen. It could get even worse, or we could see a significant reversal and rally, because October and November, historically great months, were not that great. They were actually during the course of an actual bullish move, a bull run, if you will, a continuation of the market, a change of guard, if you will. During all of these moments, you saw this opportunity to slide in, started by Wintermute, scared off by a lot of different, by this movement, collapsing the market, turning it into just a crazy, crazy, oh my God moment, and then here we are. So a big reversal might be on tap. The rest of the market, Dow Jones, which was banging way up a little while ago, has now been in take profit mode, back down to 70 points. The total market cap for crypto is now down 65 billion on the day. Again, we're seeing just a real weird sort of, let's move it to the 1 hour right here. The US market came online, and what did they do? Like the goblins they are, just started selling off. I don't make this up, guys. I don't make it up. These goblins and ghouls in the U.S. market just continue to sell off on you at every given opportunity and every given moment. By the way, if you look at the MACD, the MACD can't get any more bearish. I mean, let's be fair to this is the MACD right now, and when we look at it on this upside right here, like look at that right there. We had this nice outward flow. The nice outward flow seemed to stop. We had a reversal on tap, and now it's even worse. This is in the last couple of hours, by the way. This is not over the last couple of days. But this is just going to be one of those bad days. But guess what? That usually means that we're about to see a reversal coming. Now, question is, how much lower can we get? Well, collapse this pain, and let's look at the next indicator, which is the RSI. And look at the RSI right now. The RSI in the 39 range, which is a bullish indicator. Let's zoom out here on the 1 hour. We could see some more downward momentum. We could come down to the bottom of the range at 30, and that becomes a massive buy opportunity. Man, remember, it's between 30 and 70. That's the way that it works. On the daily, look at this right here, right now. We just bounced off of the bottom on the daily. And that's the big one, right? So, or that's one of the big ones anyway. So now I suspect we're going to see a run back up to the top of this range over the next little while. The last time we got down this low, we had a strong reversal. Now, that strong reversal, let's consider what we're looking at right here. See if I can fit it both on the screen. So the last time we got down into this range right here, we had a massive sell down, and then we had a massive explosive move, but then an absolute bottoming again, and then another test, and then a bottoming, and then it started to break out. So what are we looking at right now? We're looking at the same thing for the moment sort of playing out. So, you know, what would it look like ultimately? And that would be, we get this move up here into this range, we get a break back down, we get a break back up, we get a break back up, and then boom, it starts to take off. Well, that takes us into just kind of eyeballing it, January or February of 2026, maybe. So, and these moves can be swift, by the way. These moves can be not DeAndre Swift, because you can't catch that guy, but they could be very, very swift. We could see just a massive move start to happen. And by the way, I still think that it would be led by AI. I don't think that AI is off the radar for the rest of the market. So anyway, let's close that out and get back over to what we were doing before. Bull market peak indicators, none of them hit. Dev, for those of you that don't, for those of you that partake, there's going to be an AMA with Ray Quintana either tomorrow or I don't think it's today. They would have announced it, but you know, just be listening for it. As far as the market goes, let's go to the one right here. Caspa up 22% on the day. IP up 14% on the day. Finally, by the way, let's pull that up here so you guys can see it. SWE is up 8% on the day. We're actually getting a breakout. It's been a long time coming, so we hope that it continues, obviously. In the next category, 100 to 200, we've had MON, which is, I think, Monad. Yeah, Monad launched, and it's up 50% on the day. So if you got some Monad coin, shout out to you. Zebek Network is up 12.5% today. I told you guys I bought some a couple days ago. Super happy with that buy because I got it at 0.0027. So I got some of it at 0.003. Then I DCA'd at 0.0027. So now it's trading, I think, 0.0035. So pretty good. Fart coin up 13%, but that bottomed. That's got a long way to go. Useless up 20%, which is right here. I wish these would move a little bit faster when I pull them. There you go. Useless up 20%. AIC, Piverse 17%. Wrecked up 12%. Also, by the way, you are seeing some strength from Dev at the moment. I don't know how long it'll last. Tensor is up 22%. Waves up 23%. And by the way, for those of you that don't think that I'm a dummy, for those of you that think that I might be smart in some way, then ask yourself this. I didn't get paid from Bitcast for a while for my BitTensor videos, and I really didn't know why, and I don't really kind of understand the ecosystem. So I was like, I guess it'll be done one of those days. And they were like, hey, dum-dum, you never put your wallet in here, and we owe you some money. So in case you're wondering if I'm an idiot, yeah, 100%. And if you already knew that, well, then the joke's on you. There's no joke. I am that dumb. Anyway, so yeah, I screwed that up completely. So shout out to me for not knowing what the hell I'm doing. Welcome to Crypto Day 1, Believes, you idiot. Fear and Greed Index is up to 20. Still not cooking. Still not cooking. We need to see a big move before we get some confidence back in the market. That's really going to be the key. But this is the moment right here. This is where you continue to accumulate Bitcoin. If you didn't get some already, then again, you're going to sell it when it hits 70. 30 to 70, that's the game. That's the play. So, I mean, do the right thing, man. Do the right thing. Let's pop up the liquidation heat map and let's see if we can track a direction on a shorter time frame. The shorter time frame tells me that there is upward momentum here right now with a run up to 89,000. Like we should see the dogs running right now to catch that liquidity. Now, zooming out, it gets even better. It's 97, 98,000. The money is piled up at the top. If you're a market maker and you're looking to increase your liquidity pool, you have to attack leverage positions. By the way, for those of you that don't understand, those market makers right now, they are suffering a liquidity crisis. They are suffering a liquidity crisis because that money is going into stable coins and stuff like that. And it's not staying in the market. So you have to be more cutthroat, and you have to start wrecking these. You have to start wrecking these longs and shorts. Otherwise, you are going to be screwed. Like, you have to pull liquidity back into the market. The only way to do that is going to be wild swings in the market to pull that money and to suck it back into the market makers. So I suspect that we're going to see some crazy volatility, and it only makes sense that you're going to see a big move into this range right here with the top of the range, boom, 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 right at 100,000. So, it makes perfect sense that you're going to see a big move to around 100,000 over the next couple days. And I mean, what else would you do? Now, outflows of 151 million yesterday couldn't maintain a positive flow on Bitcoin, but guess what? A positive flow on Ethereum, a positive flow for the second day in a row of 96 million, which means that if you're looking, then altcoin season is still kind of on the table. There's still a thirst for Bitcoin. People are or Ethereum. People are still looking at DeFi and saying, yeah, we want some of that. You don't make that up. So I would suspect that we're going to see a rally, another significant rally from altcoins coming up very, very, very soon, especially when you see things like that. When you see Ethereum moving a little bit better and you're seeing more accumulation from Ethereum than you are on Bitcoin on certain days, that's a good sign for DeFi. Also, don't forget that even if they're down on the day, it's the movement into the product that matters the most. It's seeing people starting to accumulate those bottoms and create that higher floor, which is what's happening. They're creating that higher floor. So fingers crossed that we're about to see just a magnificent reversal. We're going to get that blow-off altcoin season that we've been looking for. Trump is cutting $2,000 bribes to everybody who consumes. By the way, I got to say this because I can't help myself. How could you look at socialism like that? And basically what Donald Trump is doing is he's making everybody pay tariffs. He's making everybody pay tariffs. Importers, billionaires, everybody pays a tariff. But the only people who are going to get a $2,000 check are the middle and lower classes of the United States. That's called socialism. That's a wealth redistribution mechanism, which is wild. Which is wild because not only did we see that, but from January until now, we've seen the U.S. government take large stakes in production companies. Right here. This is, and by the way, I guess I can on the New York Times, the failing New York Times. Here we go. We can do that right here. So Trump administration, new portfolio. They now have previously awarded CHIPS Acts and grants into a $5.7 billion investment for a 10% equity in Intel. 10% stake in Intel. 10% stake in MP to counter China's dominance in the rare earth market. Also, Lithium Americas, because we need batteries. Trilogy Metals and U.S. Steel. The Trump administration has taken large positions inside production-related companies in the United States. For those of you who don't understand what that is, that's called socialism. So it is wild that we're even having these debates at this point, whether it's socialism or not. That 100% is pure socialism. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing when it's used by the right person or people. This doesn't mean that we're converting to some kind of socialist country, by the way. This just means that sometimes you need that in order to grease the wheels, in order to make stuff happen. Now, when the profit margin hits, then the U.S. market starts to de-risk itself from those protocols. But for right now, we need the ability to make sure that we're doing enough lithium. We need the chips for AI and manufacturing and the conversion to robotics. We need steel for building. I mean, there's a lot of different things here that it's useful. You may not like it, by the way. You may not like it because you were told in the employee handbook, anytime somebody says socialism, you got to be really mad. You know, you might have read that, or you might have seen it drawn in crayon from the White House, but it's happening right in front of you. And if you're not outraged, does it mean you're a hypocrite? Does it? No? Because what I said at the end, where it's like, if it's okay, if it's one guy that you like, it's okay, but not with other. I don't know. I'm just asking questions. By the way, look at the market right now. Down $43 billion on the day. Bitcoin down 1.5%. Ethereum down almost 2%. Solana down 2.5%. BNB down another 2%. Link down 1.5%. XRP down about 2%. Dev up 1.5% right now. Tau up 2.5% right now. Zebek Network is up 4.5% on the day. Assemble Protocol is starting to run again. When Assemble Protocol is starting to run again, that to me means that we're probably going to see an AI pump. Now, step back 1 second, and what are we seeing in the AI market? Tau pumping, Fetch down quite a bit, so we're not seeing that rotation. ICP down 2%, so we're not quite seeing that rotation. We've just got Assemble AI, and we've got Tau right now having little movements. So not a full-blown breakout at this point. Now, what I would be interested in, by the way, Monad up 28% on the day. What I would be interested in would be, when we see a positive day, when we see the day flip positive, if we see the day flip positive, what does it look like for something like Tau? For example, when are we going to get bullish on Tau again? When it climbs above this 618 right here. That's when, if you were looking, by the way, to enter a position right here, I would be looking for a move, and then I'd be looking for a break back down to 303, 304 right here, 302 maybe, and then that's when you take your position. That's when you enter a long, when it goes up above and then comes back down a little bit and bounces off of the 304, 302 sort of range. And if it does that, then boom, it is on like Donkey Kong. Did I say that right? Did I? As a matter of fact, I might have these numbers wrong. Let's do this. Let's make sure that we got it exactly right. Up a little bit there. Up a tiny bit here. About 303. About 303. Don't take a long when it hits 303. Don't take a long when it hits 303. Take a long when it comes back down after it pumps to maybe 315, 320 and comes back down to 303. That's when you enter the long position, by the way. So set a buy order for that range. Also, if you set a buy order as it pumps up into that range, by the way, if you decide that you don't want to wait, then be prepared to take profit at about 310, 315. That's just a short scalp to get yourself a little bit more cash because it will come back down, probably test that range one more time. Then, however, the blow off is going to be into this rally zone, and that rally zone is $450. So look for a massive, massive rally on BitTensor coming up very, very soon. Maybe when this market corrects. Maybe we'll start to see it just kind of rip when this market corrects. It was not that long ago that it was sitting at $540. So significant rally. The number one AI crypto in all of crypto dumb. Look at that. Still number one. Near Protocol coming in at number 2. Damn. I need to edit this now so that it's on the screen because that's... Wait. Let's do this. There we go. That's a little better. BitTensor, 3.1 billion. Near Protocol, 2.3 billion. Internet Computer, 2.2 billion. So there's a race. Remember, BitTensor's been number 1 for a while. ICP overtook it as BitTensor was in its corrective phase based off of this crazy pump that it had. So, but then, we zoom out and we start to look at it and man, oh man, oh man. It seems like $700 or $800 is the next big level for BitTensor. Now, if it goes to the golden zone, by the way, if it goes to the golden zone, that right now is $1,159 from where it currently is. If we take this out, by the way, and we say, well, what's the golden zone from the last big impulse move from the last significant rally? Well, guess what? That's going to get absolutely nanners because there's the pivot bottom, there's the pivot top, $2,000. How would you like to see a $2,000 BitTensor? That's 300 right now. So we're talking about a 7x from where it currently is. Like that would be a significant and crazy, crazy rally. And you might be asking yourself, well, how is that going to happen? Well, Zcash was $24 a couple days ago. Boo. Went up to 750. So the money exists in the market. It's just getting the people. Pay attention, noob. You know what I mean? It's just catching those institutions and making it happen. Oh, shit. As we say this, Tau is breaking out. Just went up to $302 in a moment's notice. Not sure what's going on with Tau right now, but let's go look at it. We got a big... Okay, so we broke above the 200. That should be a spot where the rally stops for a second. That is a significant move that just happened. But if we push above this 200 over the next couple of hours... we're going to see a big move up like this and across like this, and we're going to see a golden cross, and that should mean that a big rally is coming. Now, that doesn't mean that it will. It just, we're reading tea leaves. Okay, it's not real until it's actually real. But again, that rally, 450, any moment now, I really think we're going to start to see that breakout. AI is the next big thing. You know it. I know it. We all know it. It's just a question of these markets recognizing it and taking advantage of that opportunity and starting to see a little bit more. And by the way, there is a BitTensor ETF, I think, that was filed. Grayscale has launched a BitTensor Trust. There are several exchange-traded products and trusts that provide exposure to BitTensor. So these products are available to investors in Europe and an accredited investor in the United States, but a spot BitTensor ETF has not been approved for publicly trading. Grayscale has Tau Fund, Valor BitTensor ETP. Then you have the 21 shares BitTensor ETP. And then you've got ETP versus ETF access. There's been some filings. Yeah, so we've got it. We've got ETPs for Tau right now. The next question is, can we get an ETF? And there's been some filings. There's been some filings. So Should be very, very interesting as it plays out. SWE down 2.5%, but having a market rally yesterday. Near protocol down 3%. HBAR had a significant reversal, but now it's finding that, it turns out that there's a lot of shady guys out here trying to take a little bit of profit off of it. They don't want to hold on for very long. They're here for some time, not a long time. Son doobie. So what are we seeing here? It ran to the 0.45. Expect to move back to the 236, which is 14.7 cents. No real money to be made off of that. Not really. If you caught that at 12 cents, you might be able to take a 10-20% profit. You 5x'd it with leverage. Maybe you're sitting at about 50-60% profit. I would encourage you probably just take it right now. See if you don't get a dip. This market is still kind of volatile. You don't know whether you're going to get that straight upward climb, as Sammy Hagar once said. Aerodrome Finance. Everybody's bullish on Aerodrome Finance. And when everybody's bullish on something, by the way, don't buy it. Wait until everybody's bearish. Now, the one thing that I could say in reference to that is, if we're splitting hairs, I suppose, then look at what's happening right here. You've got this downward momentum. You're kind of sitting at 67 cents right now, but you've got the MACD starting to turn a little bit pinkish over here. And then down here, let's minimize that one. And then down here, this RSI, you got to get out of the way for it. But that RSI exceedingly low, sitting at around 37 right now. 37 RSI kind of means to me that, I'd like to reverse these positions. There we go. So with the MACD, yeah, there we go. So the RSI sitting pretty low, MACD looking like it's flourishing back into the positive. So I take it all back. Maybe get into Aerodrome right now. But when everybody's bullish, I always have a problem that it's not going to have that breakout like it was. By the way, Tau's still continuing to run up over 302 right now. Was at 295 just a few moments ago. So something's going on over there. Not sure if it's one big investor. I'm not sure if there was an announcement that we just, let's go to BitTensor and see if we got anything right now. BitTensor right here. Nah. Open Tensor, 165. Yeah, here we go. Oh, so it looks like people are just getting excited because BitTensor's halving is coming. Axe221 says, I think it's a bear market. I disagree. I think we're just in a trap right now that was brought about by Wintermute selling off and the 4-year. By the way, Wintermute sold off strategically when the 4-year cycle looked like it was ending. All of it happened at one point, and that convinced the 4-year guys that we're done and that we'll see at the end of 2026. That's what I think happened, and it triggered a bunch of people coming out of the market. But what we're talking about right now is institutional money is still coming into the market at a crazy rapid pace. And we're going to get a blow off on Bitcoin. We're going to get some mass accumulation. Somebody out there is about to buy enormous amounts of Bitcoin. We're about to see an absolute run on Bitcoin. And I'm just saying the reason that I think that is happening. And yes, the Tau halving is coming on December 12th, by the way. For anybody who's looking for the date, it's going to be on the 12th of December. So, or it's estimated to be on the 12th of December, I should say. So, but anyway, so I think that we got trapped in it, but I think that we're going to get some rate cuts. We're going to get some quantitative easing. We're going to get the Fed stepping in big time to take care of this market. And then we're going to see an absolute banger of a run. When everybody's bearish right now, buy the fear. Okay. If everybody is 100% convinced that we're in a bear market, if everybody is 100% convinced, then guess what? We're not. We're going to go into a bull market. All right. And if you look around, very few of us right now are telling you that this bull market has not finished yet. Okay, there are a few people who've been around for a while who are like, you know what? No, that big double top, that altcoin season blow off. It's not mandatory. It's not a requirement, but it is part of the process. And we haven't seen that process play out. We saw what we saw. Here's basically what we saw. Let me go back in here and let me just provide you guys with some information here on the daily right here. Okay, this yellow line right here, this is global liquidity. Global liquidity absolutely blowing up in the world right now. Okay, now it is massively diverging from crypto. Now what we saw right here, just want to lay this out for you for liquidity flow. Okay, what we saw was this massive banger of a move right here, followed by this steep correction. But this big flow to the upside that was happening right here, it got undercut by Wintermute. Wintermute stepped in. Wintermute just kind of dunked on us and just kind of annihilated this market during a time when we were on this uptrend right here for a new all-time high. All right, so if you look at it from this context, this move right here should have gone up more, okay? But we got this move right here. We start to see this downward move, right? Then we get into this spot. Then we get this. Then we're ready for this next big move. We're getting this move. We're getting ready for it. Boom, boom, boom. It's ready to go. And then boom, Wintermute sells everything into this, which was global liquidity making a move. And then we didn't see this big upward momentum come back yet. So what we're watching right now is we're watching people on the sidelines with global liquidity rising, okay? With global liquidity rising, we're seeing this absolute dumping of Bitcoin. So you have to ask yourself, why would that happen? And the answer to that is because of manipulation. The markets are being manipulated. Now, you know that. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. But what I am saying here is that this is a gross level of manipulation from a group of people who are just looking, guys, they're looking to steal from you. Like, we're not, I mean, like, let's be honest here. Here's the, oh, by the way, here is the last big move right there. Oh, you know what? I was off on this. I had actually put this off just a little bit. I had moved it to 80 days. It should have been 92. I want to say it was 92 days. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it was about 92 days. So I had it a little bit off. But we got this massive dump, and now we're going to get this return pump. So, again, a lot of people are calling for 75K Bitcoin. A lot of people are calling for 60K Bitcoin. A lot of people are saying that it's just all over. And, you know, to be fair, maybe it is. Maybe it is. But if it were, why did Wintermute buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, or almost $1 billion worth of Bitcoin during the dip, to buy back their own dip that they created? Why are we seeing so many suddenly whales starting to accumulate? Why are we seeing so much stablecoin sitting in this market? Stablecoin market's up 2.5% on the day. Look at this. Stablecoin market is going in lockstep right now with the rest of it. The stablecoins are increasing by the hour, by the minute, by the day. We've minted, I want to say it was $175 billion worth of new stablecoins since October 1st. That is insanity, okay? Just consider these things. Just consider these things. And by the way, if I'm wrong and you're right, shout out to you. But I don't think you are. But I just don't think that you are. Stablecoins are pumping because the money is not going into Bitcoin because the signal hasn't come to buy more Bitcoin. So could we see a dip to 75? Yes. Will we see a dip to 60? Possibly. Do I think that it's going to happen? Absolutely not. 75? Maybe. But then I suspect instead of a sideways action, we're going to see a massive move very, very quickly, because that's going to be the spot. Guys, there's buy orders. Go look at the order books, okay? Just go look at the order books. There's a ton of money sitting out there just waiting to re-enter the market. So let's remove this. And then let's go to a volume profile. And then let's just kind of zoom out and go to the weekly here on Bitcoin. And, you know, where could we see the money flow? Let's get off of this and let's get into this range right here. There we go. All right. So This is why they're saying 60,000, by the way. This right here, coming down into it, this is where the volume is right there. You know, I changed this to a different color because I'm an idiot. It's supposed to be this right here. There we go. So in that range right there is, that's the volume node. The other volume node, by the way, is at 96,000. Then we got another one sitting here at about 84, 85,000, which we're closed above that right now. So again, we're going to go to the fundamentals here. If we close above 91,440, the rally is back on. If we can't close above 91,440, then yeah, we're probably going back down. Okay, but the Dow Jones is up 310 points now, and the total market cap is still down 40 billion. So what you're seeing right now is you're seeing a bunch of money going into the Dow Jones, which, by the way, by the midday or something like that, might be coming right back out. And it might come down with the rest of the market, or you're going to see a massive rotation because guess what? Again, you've got Tau starting to pump. You've got Assemble Protocol starting to move. That does mean, or that should mean, that AIs are about to go in vogue in the markets. And by the way, don't forget that Tau was pumping super hard while ICP, which had a good pump, by the way, but was not moving significantly. Okay, so remember that Tau has been the bellwether for this market for a while. So you see a lot of interest in the BitTensor network. So if it pumps, then the rest of the AI market is going to pump. It is the #1 AI crypto right now. Proud to be partner with the #1 AI crypto, by the way. All right, so what do we expect to see? All right, let me show you, by the way, for those of you that are interested, I've been working on a new project here, and it is, well, y'all, I'm not going to show you the thing, but I'm going to... All right, there it is. There it is. Copy. All right, so now we're going to... This is what I've done so far. All right, Pine Editor. We're going to this, and then we're going to add it to the chart. All right, see that line right there? This is the average that Bitcoin could go up and down on average every single day based on where the market started or based on where we started for the day. And this gives you an idea of the range that I expect for Bitcoin. And by the way, let me also say it hit the top. Like, look at this right here. We're doing exactly what it predicts we're going to be doing. And today was an up day. So now the one problem that I do have, for those of you that are wondering, is you open this up and it says daily range clean right there. When I hit refresh on it, it doesn't work. I don't know what I did wrong on it, but it's called daily range clean. And then I hit refresh. Watch this. I'm going to refresh it. And it's going to give me an error message. And it's not going to pop back up on this chart. See, now it's gone. Now, let me do this. Let me see if I can't... let's rename it. Believes daily range. And we're going to turn off clean right there. We're going to save that. And then for the purpose of this, we're going to come down here and we're going to edit, make it believes daily range right there. All right, so we're going to save that. And then we're going to save that script. So now I have the daily range, okay? There it is. Tells me exactly where it should be. And by the way, the way I've got it set up, it works on the hourly, it works on the daily. It's the same number every which way. It shows you exactly where you are or exactly where you started, et cetera, et cetera. Like this is very good so far. Over the number of days, what I tried to do, by the way, is I'm trying to get a simple indicator with an arrow pointing up or down to tell you whether to take a long or short position. So if it comes down into this range like it is right now, then I should see a move back up to the top of this range. That's what I would expect to see happen. And it should give me an indicator telling me to enter that position. I'm not done with it yet. I've been kind of messing with it, trying to figure it out, trying to get it to do what I want it to do. And now we're going to hit the refresh. And it's disappeared again. And I have to add it back to the chart. All right, so now I'm saving it, and I got an error message right here. It says syntax error on input. So there's a compilation error of some sort that I'm missing or something like that. So I don't know. As far as the rest of the stuff goes, I reset my computer because of this error that I'm getting, trying to figure it out. So my watch list right now is empty. So I will have this updated for you guys over the next couple of, by tomorrow, I'll have everything back to normal. The most important part now is 24-hour DEX volume, which is back up to 9 billion over the course of, it's 2, 4, 6, 7 billion. 7 billion, but it was under 6 billion yesterday. So we're starting to see a reversal again. And by the way, who's leading that charge? It is Ethereum. Ethereum is number 1 right now, BSC number 2, and Solana number 3, which means retail sitting on the sidelines right now. So that's it, guys. That's your update. That's the show. I'm going to be in a meeting in just about an hour. I've taken on a new manager for this channel. I'm not good at finding new clients, and I'm not good at by the way, let me, as a matter of fact, let me show you guys what I'm talking about here. Now, you guys know that Terra Casino, Terra Port are my sponsors of the channel, and I appreciate them. And we talk about Terra Luna Classic every single day, okay? But when you come over here and you look for inspiration, I'm looking for inspiration. I'm looking for, what is it that you guys want to see more of, right? And I'm looking at a big number, like what do you want to see? So, decoding Terra Luna's AI-powered future. Terra Luna, will it survive quantum computing? Very popular topic with your viewers. Unmasking Terra Luna's decentralized energy connections. Too much Terra Luna Classic. The only thing not right now is crypto uncertainty beyond the mainstream fear, and it's asking to develop an idea for it, right? But they're giving you the inspiration and the information. If you follow what they say, then they're going to push you out in the algorithm. They're going to force you into other people's feed, and I haven't done that. So I'm going to have a meeting with a manager who's going to start managing my YouTube account to grow it. Because I think and they think, and by the way, there's a lot of people that keep coming to me recently telling me that they think my channel is way undervalued and that I should be more in line with some of these other guys. Maybe not Crypto Lifer. I mean, Sam's got 1,500 viewers at one time. Austin Hilton, I should be crushing that guy. Like I should be absolutely annihilating that guy. Can we not see that? We just absolutely annihilating it. But we'll see